Hi, my name is Kate Berry from the University of Texas at Austin, and welcome to this video on our Pirate Math Equation Quest multi-step word problem intervention with total difference change in equal group schemas, where I model how to set up and solve multi-step word problems with the equal groups, and total schema, and with the equal groups, and difference schema. In our multi-step word problem intervention, we have 5 components: Captain Cards, Equation Quest, Buccaneer Problems, Ship Shape Sorting, and our Jolly Roger Review. Students primarily are exposed to word problems during our Buccaneer Problems and our Jolly Roger Review, and really the guided practice is in our Buccaneer Problems, where students are setting up and solving word problems with the assistance of a teacher or tutor. So I'm going to talk about the multi-step equal groups, total, and difference problems as they are presented in our Buccaneer Problems. So let's take a look at our materials, what we'll need. We will need our multi-step word problem mat, and this one is version 4 because here it has our final multi-step poster on it. We'll also need our Buccaneer word problems worksheet, a pencil, as well as our What Do You Ask Yourself poster. When we took a look at 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade word problems for the most frequently used multi-step combinations, and what we found is that students were exposed to total and difference problems, total and equal groups problems, equal groups and equal groups problems, as well as equal groups, total, and equal groups, difference problems. These were the most frequently seen problems at the upper elementary grade levels, so that's what we focused on in our intervention. Now the focus of this video is going to be this final box here. So equal groups, total, or equal groups, difference. So when we zoom in on that multi-step word problem intervention poster, we see 2 different equations. So here our first equation is when we have equal groups, and the total schemas, and our second equation is when we have equal groups, and difference. So here we can see it's almost like equal groups, and total all came together. We have 3 schemas. So we have our equal groups equation, open parentheses, GR times N, close parentheses. And then we have another equal groups equation, open parentheses, GR times N, close parentheses. And you can see in the middle we have a plus sign. And this is to indicate that we have equal groups, and total. In our second example, we also see equal groups. The only difference is we see a minus sign. And this is to indicate that we have equal groups, difference, because we're going to be subtracting. In the next few slides, I'm going to model how to set up and solve an equal groups, total multi-step problem and an equal groups, difference multi-step problem. Again, we're going to focus on these 2 equations that you see here. So let's take a look at our first example. We always want to check for a table or a graph. I don't see a table or a graph, but if I did, I would number it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my marker so I can write my attack strategy on the side of my paper. So here, my attack strategy, UU, PP, SS, check, check. The U stands for understand by reading, so I'm going to go ahead and read our problem. This says there are 6 large pillows and 5 small pillows on Sonia's bed. Each large pillow has 4 stripes. Each small pillow has 2 stripes. How many stripes are there? So I'm going to check off my first U because I've understood the problem. I feel pretty good about it. Now I'm going to move to my second U, which stands for underline my label. I can typically find my label in my question sentence. It says, how many stripes are there? It's asking me about stripes. So I'm going to go ahead and underline stripes in my question sentence. Now I can move to my first P, which stands for put parentheses around needed numbers. If you want to check for irrelevant information with students, you can at this time, or you could do it during the second U. But right now I'm going to scan my numbers and make sure everything's talking about or related to stripes. Our first number is 6. That's talking about large pillows. That's not about stripes, but there are stripes on the pillows. So even though it's not about stripes, it's related. And that's a good teaching moment for kids to help them understand that if it's about our label or related to our label, then we're going to need it even if it doesn't say the label exactly. So I'm going to keep going. My next number is 5. This is about small pillows. Again, pillows is not about stripes, but I have stripes on my pillows. So I need that number, so I'm going to put that in parentheses. Now I'm going to keep going. My next number is 4. That's about stripes. I have one more number, 2. That's all about stripes. So I have 4 numbers in parentheses. So this might be a bit of a complex problem, but we can work through it one step at a time. So I put parentheses around my needed numbers. Now I need to put my numbers in order. So when we were working single step problems, it was easy. We could just put a 1 above our needed numbers. But now we're thinking about multi-step problems. So here we're talking about problems with 3 steps. So we need to think hard about what's happening first in the problem, what's happening second in the problem, and what's happening third in the problem. So I like to kind of break this up and chunk it and look at the first 2 sentences and think about what's going on. There are 6 large pillows and 5 small pillows on Sonia's bed. Each large pillow has 4 stripes. Each small pillow has 2 stripes. Okay, so first we're thinking about the large pillows. So this is a little tricky because a lot of times we just do 1, 1, 2, but here we really have to be strategic and thoughtful and make sure we're really double checking where we put our numbers. So the first thing I need to figure out is the stripes on the large pillows. So I'm going to put a 1 above the large pillows, and then I'm also going to put a 1 above 4 stripes because this 4 stripes goes with the 6 large pillows because the stripes here is talking about the large pillows because it says large pillows here. After I figure out the stripes on the large pillows, I also need to figure out the number of stripes on the small pillows. So I'm going to put a 2 here because 5 is talking about small pillows. And here I'm going to put a 2 above this 2 stripes because this is talking about small pillows as well. So just make sure that students understand that when we're ordering numbers, it's not always 1, 1, 2. Here we have to think about the large pillows and the stripes that go with them, and the small pillows and the stripes that go with them. But I'm not finished. Once I figure out how many stripes are on the large pillows and how many stripes are on the small pillows, I have to figure out how many stripes there are in all. So what I'm going to do actually, even though there are no more numbers, is put parentheses around my question sentence, and I'm going to put a 3 there. And that's going to help prompt me to understand that after I figure out the stripes on the large pillows and the stripes on the small pillows, I still have another step. I still have another schema. Now I have put the numbers in order, and I'm ready to move on to schemas. So here, let's look at our What Do You Ask Yourself poster. We need to say, are we putting parts together for a total? Are we comparing 2 amounts for a difference? Is there a starting amount that increases or decreases to a new amount? Or do we have groups with an equal number in each group? Here, we need to figure out the stripes on the large pillows. I have 6 large pillows, and each of those pillows has 4 stripes. So I have groups with an equal number in each group and an unknown product. So I'm going to write 1-EG. Now after I figure out the stripes on the large pillows, I need to figure out the stripes on the small pillows. And again, I have 5 small pillows, and each small pillow has 2 stripes. So I have groups, which are the 5 small pillows, and the number in each group, which are the 2 stripes on each of the small pillows. So I know again I'm dealing with an equal group schema because I have groups with an equal number in each group and a missing product. Now my third schema, we put parentheses around this last sentence because once we know the stripes, we're not finished. We know the stripes on the large pillows and we know the stripes on the small pillows, but then it's asking me about how many stripes there are in all, how many altogether. So I'm actually putting together stripes on the large pillows and stripes on the small pillows, putting those together. When I'm putting parts together, I know it's a total schema. So now before I solve it, I need to look at my large schema mat here, my multi-step word problem schema mat version 4, and figure out which equation I'm using. The top equation I use when I'm adding, and the bottom equation I use when I'm subtracting or have a difference problem. Here, I know that I'm multiplying and adding because my last schema is my total schema. So I know I'm going to use my first equation, which we see right here. So I'm going to write open parentheses, GR times N, close parentheses, plus open parentheses. Thanks for bearing with me with this squeaky marker. GR times N, close parentheses is the same as blank. Now I can plug my numbers in. So here we're first dealing with the large pillows. Again, make sure students are careful with where they place their numbers. So large pillows, I have 6 and 4 stripes on each of those pillows. So I'm going to check that off. Then I'm dealing with the small pillows. I know I have 5 small pillows, and there are 2 stripes on each of those small pillows. So I'm going to check that off. I just like to check off my numbers to make sure I've used them. And you can also have students just double check here. Okay, 6 large pillows and 4 stripes on the large pillows. And then I have 5 small pillows and 2 stripes on each of those. Okay, now my last step was to add these numbers, and that's what that 3 is for. You can kind of check those off as you go if you want. Now I can just do the math. We teach students about the order of operations. What we see in parentheses is what we do first. Here I have 2 sets of parentheses, but all I need to do is work with the first set first and then the second set second. So 6 times 4 I know is 24. Again, students, if they're still learning those multiplication facts, can use that multiplication table. 5 times 2 I know is 10, hopefully. Then I'm going to bring down that plus sign. 24 plus 10. My sum is 34. I have my number answer, but I'm not finished. I need to write my label. My label that I underline in the question sentence is stripes, so I'm going to write that there. Now the very last thing I need to do is check for reasonableness. So here what I can do is do the math again, or you can kind of talk through it with students. So if we have 6 pillows and 4 stripes on each of those pillows, that makes sense that I would have 24 stripes on the large pillows. And then on the small pillows, I have 5 of those and 2 stripes on each of those. It would make sense that I had 10 stripes. 24 plus 10 we know is 34. So my number answer makes sense. Now my label stripes matches exactly what I underlined in my question sentence. So we crushed this 3-step problem. We were worried at first because we had all these parentheses, but all we did was work through it, and we knew that we had equal groups, and total. In the next slide, I'm going to show you an example of an equal groups difference problem, so hang on just one moment. So now let's take a look at a multi-step word problem where we have the equal groups, and difference schemas. So first we're going to check for a table or a graph. I don't see one. If I did, I would number it. I don't, so I'm going to write U, U, P, P, S, S, check, check. Okay, my first U stands for understand by reading, so let's read our problem. It says, Miss Powell orders t-shirts for the 10 students in her class. Tie-dye t-shirts cost $5 each. White t-shirts cost $2 each. How much more will it cost Miss Powell to buy tie-dye t-shirts than white t-shirts for all of her students? I feel like I understood the problem, so I'm going to put a check next to my first U. My second U stands for underline the label. Typically, our label can be found in our question sentence, so I'm going to read our question sentence. It says, how much more will it cost Miss Powell to buy tie-dye t-shirts than white t-shirts for all of her students? Here I know we're talking about cost, so I'm going to underline cost. Now, we don't write 5 cost as an answer. We know we're talking about money. I see dollar signs, so I know that my label is going to be dollars. So I'm going to put a dollar sign below there as a reminder that I'm not going to write a number and then cost, but I'm going to write the dollar sign as my label. So I can check off my U. Now I can move to my first P, which stands for put the numbers in parentheses or parentheses needed numbers. So I'm going to scan all of my numbers and make sure they're talking about or related to money. So my first number is 10. That's about students. That's not about money, but we're paying for the students to have t-shirts. So even though it's not directly about cost, it is related because each of these students are going to be receiving these t-shirts. So I'm going to put parentheses around 10 students. My next number is 5. That's about tie-dye t-shirts. That's about money. I'm actually going to put that whole sentence in parentheses as a reminder that the tie-dye t-shirts are what cost $5. My next number is 2. That's about money. And I'm going to put that whole thing in parentheses so that I can remind myself that $2 is related to the white t-shirts. I don't have any more numbers, so I can put a check mark next to that first P, parentheses, needed numbers. Now, I can move to my second P, which stands for put the numbers in order. Now, when we had single step problems, it was very easy. We could just put a 1 above needed numbers. But now we have 3-step problems. So we need to put a 1 above any numbers involved in the first step of solving the problem, a 2 above any numbers involved in the second step of solving the problem, and now a 3 above any numbers involved in the third step of solving the problem. So here, let's read it to kind of figure out what's going on. It says, Miss Powell orders those t-shirts for the 10 students in her class. Tie-dye t-shirts cost $5 each and white t-shirts cost $2 each. How much more will it cost Miss Powell to buy tie-dye t-shirts than white t-shirts for all of her students? So here I need to figure out how much the tie-dye t-shirts will cost for all 10 students, and I need to figure out how much the white t-shirts will cost for all 10 of her students. So here I'm going to need 10 students and the tie-dye t-shirts, because I need to know the cost of the tie-dye t-shirts for the 10 students. But guess what? I also need the 10 students a second time, because I need to figure out how much the white t-shirts will cost for 10 students. So I'm actually going to put a 2 above 10 students, and then I'm going to put a 2 here above this white t-shirts, and that's going to be a clue that I need that. Kind of looks like a 2 for my second step. Now this would be a great opportunity to talk to students about the 10 students and why you need them for steps 1 and step 2. We need this number for step 1 to figure out the total cost of the tie-dye t-shirts, and we need this number for step 2 to figure out the total cost of the white t-shirts. But once I figure out the total cost of the white t-shirts and the total cost of the tie-dye t-shirts, I'm not finished. Here it says, how much more will it cost Miss Powell to buy tie-dye t-shirts than white t-shirts for all of her students? So here that's a clue that I'm comparing. I'm comparing the tie-dye t-shirts to the white t-shirts. So I'm actually going to put this last question sentence and I'm going to put a 3. And that 3 is just going to alert me that once I find out the total cost of the tie-dye t-shirts and the total cost of the white t-shirts, that I still have another step. I then need to compare or subtract to find the difference. I've checked off that second P. I've put my numbers in order. I'm ready to move to my S, which stands for schemas. Here, I'm going to go to my What Do You Ask Yourself poster and ask myself these questions. Are parts put together for a total? Are two amounts compared for a difference? Is there a starting amount that increases or decreases to a new amount? Or do we have groups with an equal number in each group? So first I need to figure out the cost of the tie-dye t-shirts. I know I have 10 students and I know each tie-dye t-shirt costs $5. So because I have groups with an equal number in each group and an unknown product, I know that my first schema is going to be equal groups. I need to find out that total cost of those tie-dye t-shirts. My second step is going to be involved with these white t-shirts. That's where I see the 2 here. I know that now I need to find out the total cost of the white t-shirts. Again, I have these same 10 students, and each white t-shirt costs $2. Again, I have groups with an equal number in each group with a missing product. Now we know here we have a third step. Once we figure out the total cost of the tie-dye t-shirts and the total cost of the white t-shirts, here it says how much more will it cost Miss Powell to buy all tie-dye t-shirts than all white t-shirts for all 10 of her students. Here we're comparing the costs of the tie-dye t-shirts and the white t-shirts, so I know my third schema is difference. Now before I move to my solve step, I need to look at my multi-step word problem schema map version 4 and see which equation I use. I know my first equation has a plus sign, and I use when I have a total step as step 3. And I know that my second equation has a minus sign, which is a clue that I'm going to use that when I have difference as a third step. So here, I know I have equal groups, difference, which means I'm going to be using my second equation. So I'm going to do open parentheses, GR times N, squeaky little marker over here, close parentheses, minus open parentheses, GR times N, another equal groups, close parentheses is the same as blank. Now we teach students about the order of operations, and we teach them whatever is in parentheses is what comes first. So here I need to look at my first set of parentheses. I first need to figure out the total cost of the tie-dye t-shirts. So I know I have 10 students and each tie-dye t-shirt costs $5. I like to check off my numbers after I use them. And I know my second step, I need to figure out the cost of the white t-shirts. I'm dealing with the same 10 students. We have a 1 and a 2 next to this 10 students, so I'm actually going to use that number a second time. And then I know that the white t-shirts cost $2 each, so I'm going to bring that down. Now all I need to do is write my signs. And again, we're dealing with parentheses. Order of operations, parentheses come first. All I need to do is deal with what's in my first set and solve that, and then I will solve what's in my second set of parentheses and then subtract. I know 10 times 5 is 50. If your kiddos don't know, they can use that multiplication table. 10 times 2 I know is 20. Now I just need to bring down my minus sign. 50 minus 20 equals 30. So I have my number answer, but I'm not finished. I need a label. I underlined cost and wrote money, so I can write a dollar sign here, or I could write $30 right here. I know I have my number and my label, and I can check these off. Thank you for dealing with the squeaking with me. Makes this a little more fun solving the word problem with the squeaks. The last thing we need to do is check for reasonableness. Does my number answer make sense? Does my label answer make sense? Here we have 10 students. The cost of each tie-dye t-shirt was $5. It makes sense that I would have $50. Then we have those same 10 students. Ms. Powell's going to buy them white t-shirts. Each white t-shirt costs $2. That makes sense that I would have 20. 50 minus 20, that makes sense that I would have a difference of 30. My number answer makes sense. My label of dollars or money sign, the money sign matches what I underlined in my question sentence. We are good to go. Excellent job solving this 3-step word problem with equal groups, and difference schemas. Thank you so much for taking this time to view our multi-step word problem intervention with total difference change in equal groups video, where I modeled how to set up multi-step equal groups total problems and equal groups difference problems. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'd like to take a moment to thank the Institute of Education Sciences, University of Texas at Austin, and the Meadows Center for Preventing Educational Risk. Without their support, this work would not be possible. Have a great day.